Hello and welcome to N-Scale Friday. I'm John, and today we have a locomotive to take a look at, so let's go over to the workbench. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an N-Scale GP39-2 from Atlas. This is in Atlas's master line, and it's a Gold Series version of the master line. What that means is it comes with DCC and sound already installed. They also make one in what's called the Silver series, which is DCC ready. On Atlas's website, you can find this model in 6 different paint schemes, as well as an undecorated version. The price for the DCC ready version of this model is $139.95, and the price for the one that comes with DCC is $249.95. The model comes packed with a warranty card, exploded view drawing, and a quick start guide for your DCC decoder. Alright, so I took a look at the paint job on this model and found it to be very good. Most of your separation lines are very crisp. It was a little bit hazy around the curved part up here, but other than that, it's excellent, and all but the tiniest writing is legible on this model. So looks very good overall. Something else I'd like to make note of is how nice the handrails look. Something about them really makes the model pop. I think it's the fact that they've actually painted the handrails the same exact color as the other yellow on the model. Sometimes on a model like this, you'll have molded plastic that's molded in a specific color of plastic, and it doesn't always look really excellent. This does. You can see on the front as well that the handrails are all painted, separately applied pieces. And you can see also on the front of the nose how good the logo looks. It wraps around that sort of ridge on the front of the nose really nicely. And that is in fact a separately applied horn casting, which also looks very good. Something else that's really popping, at least for me, looking at this just with my bare eyes, are the little pinstripes along the front edges of the steps. That looks really cool. Looking on the fireman's side of the cab, you can see there's a recessed brake ratchet detail up in here. And just, overall, I think it looks good. Something else that I'm noticing looking at it with my magnifier is that the decks are all diamond plate tread, which is pretty cool on a model of this scale. The fireman's side has the classic bulge that is one of the spotting features for these locomotives, and I was noticing there's a toolbox here behind the fireman's seat. And then something else I was noticing on the other side as well, and you can see it here, is how they've used little bits of red paint to pick out details around the fuel tank. That also looks very good. And, I don't know, I've mentioned this before on other models, but it seems like the silver trucks have more detail in them, or it's more visible, right, than you get on models that have black trucks. But the detail in there just, to me, looks really good. This stuff all up in here just looks really good to me, right? Very cool. And the rear of the model has pretty similar detail to what we saw on the front, including the molded grabs and the little pinstriping on the stepwells. I'm calling it pinstriping, but I think it's really safety striping. But you know what I'm talking about, these little lines of yellow that show up along the steps. They look really cool. And we'll just look at it from this angle for a second. I think this gives you a good idea, going all the way around the model like we usually do, of what to expect if you get one of these. It just looks good overall. The presentation on this model, I think, is really nice. I think it has to do, and this is a common thing with me, it has to do with the paint scheme, I think. I think I'm just partial to this kind of paint scheme. Yellow and blue go really well together in my mind, so I feel like I'm really impressed by it. And I might be more impressed than I should be. I don't know. And looking at the top of the model, I'm pretty impressed with the fact that the fans they're molded, obviously, on something this small, but it looks like they are molded in such a way as to present some extra blade detail. I'm really impressed with the way that comes off, because it looks like a fan with some depth, and it looks like something that's down there below the grills. And I'm always impressed with N-scale models that have this kind of fan molding. And looking at the roof of the cab, I think I mentioned before, that's a separately applied 3-chime air horn casting. Also looks really good. All right, so we've gone all the way around the model and looked at the top. And that means it's time to run this little beast and see if we should be impressed or not. So let's start it up and see how it runs. One of the things you'll notice is that it really crawls, and that's because it has an Atlas scale speed motor. And I'll tell you what, it's nothing like what N-scale used to be. Very cool. Let's have a quick look at the lights then. These are golden white LEDs, by the way, and they come on with the F0 key. They're directional, so when it's in forward, that's what you'll see. And the headlights just look good. I mean, I'm looking at this in person, and they're not overwhelmingly bright or anything. They just look like what I expect, and I think that's a good look with the number boards coming on too. Let's have a look at the rear-facing headlight. So I'm just going to reverse directions on the control here. And there you go. No number boards on the back. They're plated over. But the light does work, and it looks very good. I'm really excited about this locomotive, and I'll tell you why. Besides the fact that it's a Santa Fe, has all the nice paint and nice railings, sound, DCC, all that good stuff. But what I didn't talk about is I have another one that matches it, just with a different road number. So eventually, when I get to run these two locomotives together, it's going to look really sharp. Just have to get them speed matched and get them down to the SBHRS N-scale layout when it's open again. Anyway, that's it for this time, and I'll see you next time.